couple of those.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
There we go. Hey, Chef Brandy. How are you?
I'm good, Chauncey. How you doing today?
I'm here. So, everybody, it is Wednesday, March 10th of 2021. We are welcoming you to EMP Review, Entrepreneur Meal Plan Review.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, everybody, keep in mind, if you have questions, you have comments, put them in the chat, put them in the comment section wherever you are, and we'll get to them. Anytime you want to slide it in there, we'll take it and we'll have a good time. And today, Brandy, yes, we have to introduce ourselves. I'm Chauncey, the host. There's Chef Brandy, Entrepreneur Whisperer to the stars. We have off cam, Drea, who's helping us out. So check out what's coming to you in the chat from Drea. And with that said, Brandy, tell us, how do we become members? Because they're members only stuff. Isn't this a members only event?
It is members only. Well, the live
losing
event.
My mind.
Yes, indeed. Members only. Members only get the replays too. So, Entrepreneur Meal Plan is a community for entrepreneurs looking to find food for their mind, body, and business. What does that mean? We are a community of people who don't want to work ourselves into the ground to the point that when we build our legacies, we don't have anything left over to enjoy it. So this is a place where we encourage you not only to push into your clients, but also push into yourself. We use plant-based food, work-life balance, community, and the idea of just helping one another to stay motivated, inspired, and committed to this uncertain journey. So specifically, because I know Chauncey's going to come at me with the tangibles in a second. So specifically, you get meal plans, you get recipes, you get shopping lists, you get access to the replays of these Entrepreneur Meal Plan reviews. You become part of a community of like-minded individuals on the same journey that you're on, resources, bonuses, special events, and just all things good, yummy food for your mind, body, and business.
Wow. So essentially, you get help creating a plan of what you're going to eat, so you don't have to worry about that, along with support for your business. And like you were saying, Brandy, a community where you can engage in lots of different ways. So that's a holistic approach to entrepreneurship that you're providing the people. And it's $30.23 per quarter.
Yeah.
So not per month, per quarter.
Das ist alles.
Which is every 3 months, right? Am I losing my mind here?
Correct. Every 3 months.
Okay. Now, with that said, in this month,
yes,
which is a 12th of the year, we have Beets as our thing. Well, Brandy has it as her theme. It's not my theme. So Brandy has decided that it is the Beet month here. It's Women's History Month. It's Beet month. Great. And you're going to do a rainbow beet salad. We had beet hummus last week. Now a rainbow beet salad.
Yeah.
What does that mean, Brandy? Entice us here.
It means that we're going to create this beautiful salad that has colors from the rainbow that make us excited when we look at it, and even more excited when we put it into our mouths.
Wow. So there isn't such a thing as a rainbow beet?
No, not to my knowledge. Now, beets do come in different colors, but there are no rainbow beets that I know of.
Okay, well, maybe you should get on that, try to, get that going somewhere. Who knows? So with that idea, Brandy, go ahead, set yourself up for this rainbow beet salad. And everyone, remember, if you have questions, comments, just let us know. So Brandy will be back in a moment. Bye.
All right, guys. So we are going to get into this rainbow beet salad. Now, you always hear that idea of eating the rainbow when you're having vegetables because every vegetable has a different um, photonutrient, as they call them. And so we're gonna use beets. Beets is our thing. The beet is on this month at Entrepreneur Meal Plan. Last week I used these pre-cooked beets. I'm going to do it the same this week. As entrepreneurs, it's a little more challenging to roast beets. So something as simple as this solution makes our lives so much easier. These things are juicy though. So hold on, I'm going to get a bowl. So got a good old beets, and it's color purple. We don't see that often in food. We see it in what the skin of what is it, the skin of eggplant, cabbage. I can't think of any other places where this deep purple red flavor color lives, but it's a good one to get. So I'm literally just going to slice these up. Now, if you don't want beet hand, which is pretty much red, colorful hands when it's all said and done, I would recommend you putting on some gloves. I'm gonna have to just live with beet hand for the next maybe I'm gonna say 2 to 3 days. I haven't really found a solution to get it off quickly, but baking soda and lemon juice seems to help a little bit. I don't know if it would like soap by soap doesn't always do it, so just let you know if you are not interested in walking around with beet fingers, gloves are going to be your friend. Now, this salad for me is really a fun, a fun salad. It's an opportunity for me, like I said, to get a bunch of colors into a bowl. And you guys know I'm all about making things your own. So when I was putting this salad together, I was thinking about a bite that had different textures and different flavors. Now, beets have different, they register to some people differently, right? They're super earthy. So you're going to get that grounded kind of earthy flavor from them. But they also have a sweetness to them. I know lots of people who do not like beets, but love beet juice. Beets show up in smoothies all the time because of that sweetness that people are looking for. So I thought that something that had a sweetness to it can do really well with some heat, right? So the heat is going to be a little faint this time because I'm going to use arugula, which is a leaf, leafy green, peppery leafy green, right? So just chopped up these beets very, you know, roughly. No, they're not too rough. They're kind of in squares. I got a little bit of a arugula. I'm going to chop this arugula up so the color really nicely goes through, and it also gives the beets like this peppery. It's going to give us this pepperiness. That's the one thing I love about arugula. Number one, it has an amazing smell, but in addition to it, it really does bring out sweet food, like the sweet thing really well. So I would like to pair it with, say, strawberries. A lot of times you see an arugula salad that has strawberries in it because that pepperiness works really well. Um, Corn as well, which is going to be another one of the ingredients. And I'm going into the arsenal, which is the frozen corn stash, and using just some literally already packaged frozen corn, some hot water from the kettle. I'm not even going to cook it. I'm just going to defrost it a little bit. This is where your stash comes in. Now, in the summertime, when I make this salad, I actually do grilled corn. So like corn on the cob grilled and then put into the salad. It's really yummy because you get that smokiness from the corn and that sweetness that goes really nice. But literally what we did is took some hot water, put it into a cup with the corn, and we'll let it defrost a little bit. We don't need to cook it. I'm gonna also add in our good friend Different chickpea, yet again, going back to the stash. This is all about, this is funny, I should have called it rainbow pantry salad because I think I pulled out everything from our pantry when putting this one together. I'm going to drain these chickpeas right now, so just give me a second and rinse them. Gives us a little bit of extra protein and also some good old creaminess. This would be really good roasted too. If you had some time to actually roast these, that would be nice. Just checking in on this corn. Really simple. I'm telling you, something about frozen corn and water. You don't have to do, that's it. I've had a many days when I've literally just eaten frozen corn and water. Well, not and water, but just heated with water, right? So really, really simple. Now what I'm going to do is just season it with a little bit of garlic powder. This is some red wine vinegar. Gives it a nice little tang to go along with that sweetness from the beets and from the corn and the garlic and the pepperiness, and it smells so good. It's like it's acidic, it's garlic. I love how arugula smells. It's very herbaceous. I'm gonna add in our good friend, one of Chauncey's favorite, a good old avocado. If you guys are EMP review regulars, you know that this is a running joke of ours. But I have some baby avocados that I want to get rid of before they turn into exclusive smoothie food. So put a couple of those in there, and I just cut them down, scoop them out with a spoon, super ripe. I'm gonna also finish this off with a couple of walnuts, which just give it a nice little nutty flavor, some extra texture. You don't have to add the walnuts. You don't have to add the avocado. Those things do add different flavor profiles and the creaminess, but they also add some fat too. So if you're trying to avoid fat, kill the last two ingredients that we put on here. And I'm also going to sprinkle on a little bit more corn just to give the finish a little more color. Now, literally, this is such a simple, because the beets are already done, simple salad, rainbow. You know what? I'm going to work in a different bread because I happen to have a pepper. Some peppers that were already chopped up, and I feel like this could totally absorb a little bit more color because the richness of the beets gets a little lost in the other thing. Add some red to it, a different punch level, sweetness to it. And there we have it, guys. A simple rainbow beet salad. So I'm going to head back over to answer questions, and I will be back shortly.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Looks great as usual. Remember, everybody, if you have questions, comments, you can type them in at any time. And as you do, I'll ask my questions. Now, to start, again, it looked amazing. Tell us, Brandy, can you explain why colorful dishes are so appealing? What is it?
Because we eat with our eyes first, right? So it's something about
Why?
why? Because we do. We're visual creatures. We're visual. Like
Why?
we have multiple senses, right? If someone just gives you a brown something, you're like, what is this? But it's the color. I don't know what it is. I think it's just I really don't have an answer to that one, except the fact that we eat with our eyes first. I don't know. Like, for as much as to some people, a hot dog might taste better in your mouth, a salad always looks better to your eyes just because of how it pops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. It's probably has something to do with, if you're actually out foraging for food, the color would stand out and then you pick it. So, interesting though. Here's a question from Drea. Would you include roasted chickpeas instead of regular canned chickpeas? And here we go with the jalapenos.
Jalapeno. She
Drea's going to
loves
bring that in.
jalapeno. You know what's funny? I actually had thought about jalapenos, but I wanted to save it for something I was having tomorrow, so I didn't use it because I only have one
Now
left.
see, you got caught. You got caught.
Listen,
How
gotta
dare you do
conserve,
that
all right?
with us in here?
I put the peppers in there though. I put the sweet red peppers in there. But yeah, the roasted chickpeas instead of, or in addition to, would be nice too because then you get both of those textures, that crunchy, that can like creaminess. And yeah, jalapenos would work perfectly in a salad.
Interesting. Now another question from Drea. Here we go. 2 in a row. What other peas would you use beside the chickpea?
What other peas beside the chickpeas? Let's see. I could actually see that going well with a lentil, any one of the lentils. Um, Probably the black lentil though, because I feel like it would stand up to that particular dish. Like the yellow or the orange would just kind of dissolve. So I don't know if it would really work that well. I also considered black beans for this one as well. I think black beans would go really well in it. I also think a black eyed pea would go well in it. A cannellini bean, like any of the white beans, I think would go really well with that salad. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking black beans,
Mhm.
frankly, because corn and black beans is just
Goes
that's a
so well together.
yeah, no brainer. Okay. And what about red beans as well? Dre is
Oh,
asking.
like a pinto bean, like a kidney bean. I can see that working.
Yeah, corn and pinto, they do work. The
Mhm.
best one though is black beans, really. It's just the best. Okay, so that was interesting. I enjoyed that. Now tell us this, Brandon. Here's another question. What are the flavor profiles that you should try to incorporate into any dish? Because this one you really hit on sweet and peppery.
Mhm.
What are the flavor profiles? Should we try to have all of them in a dish if possible? Because like Rocco Despirito is all about that. But what's your take?
It depends. So it depends on what your what your mouth is interested in that day, right? So and what culture you're paying homage to. If you're doing Thai food, the rule is you gotta hit every part of the tongue. So you do the sweet, the spicy, the salty, the sour, the savory. Like that's their methodology around cooking food, right? Um, if you are like in the mood for just a solid kind of savory dish, I feel like with savory, you always want to get something that's herby. And when I say herby, I mean like a parsley, a basil, or something like that. And then,
Cilantro?
yes, a good old cilantro. If you are,
Some people don't like that,
I
Brandy. Watch
know
out.
it makes me so sad because it's a genetics thing. It's not even their
Yeah.
fault. They can't even control it. It's so sad. But anyway, so 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 I would go with something herby. And then like I always feel like you want to have savory and sweet in there too. And sweet doesn't necessarily mean like sugar, like in your face sweet, but a note of sweetness to kind of bring everything together. Because even though maybe we don't know, but like the salt, sugar, fat combination is like deadly, right? As far as us eating processed foods and continuing to eat things that aren't great for us. But you can create that same mouth feel with plants or with food, right? So you can get sweet from a carrot. It's obviously not going to be the same as from a Snickers bar, but there is sweet from a carrot,
What do
right?
you mean?
Listen, you're going to get celery. You can get salt from celery. Won't be the same as a bag of Lay's potato chips, but you're
What?
going to get salt. You understand? So,
Whenever I eat celery, I think of Lay's potato chips. What are you talking about?
and then when we're looking for like fat, we can get that from nuts. And sometimes that fat can like just be a creaminess that can come from a bean, like a white bean or a bean. So like I think those are the things that we're looking for when you're thinking about food. You're thinking about salt, you're thinking about sweet, you're thinking about creamy, you're thinking about savory. So as you're building dishes, especially if you're doing something like if you're playing with the food, if you're like, oh, I don't necessarily like, I want to go in and create something. Those are the foundational things I would say you start with and go from there. And I am a big fan of acid. Like I'm all like, if you can throw vinegar, if you're eating something and you're like, oh, this is missing something, go grab a lime, go grab some vinegar, sprinkle it in, and more than likely that's going to be the thing that you're missing.
Or just have Snickers and the salt and vinegar potato chips, and that hits everything you just said, Brandy. See?
Thanks, Chauncey.
Hey. Now, speaking of vinegar, how do you know which vinegar to use? Like red wine vinegar you use, why not balsamic, white, apple cider? Like
They
how do you
all just like with anything, everything has a different flavor, right? So like chickpeas taste different than black beans, taste different than kidney beans, taste different than lentils, right?
they taste different?
Yes, they do. They taste different. And so vinegar is the same way, right? So like when you make your greens, tend like black people, we make our greens, we want a tang, right? You want that thing to hit you in the back of your throat. So you're gonna go with a white vinegar because the white vinegar has more of like a punch to it, right? Apple cider vinegar, if you get one with the acidity levels a little off, is gonna have that same kind of tang, but it's not gonna be as aggressive. So it's a little smoother. Same with red wine vinegar. Red wine vinegar is also a little smoother, but it's not as sweet as apple cider vinegar. Balsamic vinegar comes from grapes. So it has a sweetness to it, but it's the musk of the grape. So it also has a little more depth of flavor, to it. The same when you do white balsamic. White balsamic comes from a grape too, but a sweeter grape, a white grape that is sweeter than the dark grapes that the other balsamic vinegar comes from, or regular balsamic vinegar comes from. So rice wine vinegar is literally the same way how all of these different vinegars have different flavor profiles. So what I would recommend, if you're like, I just have apple cider vinegar. This is too much. I don't even know what any of this stuff is. What I would do is I would say add one new vinegar to your pantry a month. And every time you go out, like to shop, and get a small one, you don't have to get like a huge one, and just kind of play around with them because they really do add a different flavor to your food. And if for some reason you get it and you're like, oh, I don't really like it, throw it on a salad. I don't care what vinegar it is, make it into a salad dressing. If you don't like it like in food or something, just work through it. You're not gonna waste your money, just work through it in a salad.
Okay. So one more question for me, and remember, everyone, if you have questions or comments, let us know. Um, if you didn't want to add the avocado and walnuts, is there anything else you could add that would like even come close to the same kind of flavor?
Yeah, so I would literally swap the avocado out for peas. I think peas would go really well in there. You would get like that creaminess and it's a little sweet and a little earthy. And then though without the walnuts, it would probably be a seed, honestly. Or if you just wanted the texture, not the flavor, I'd probably go with the green slash the brown lentil. That would probably be like a more like a rougher, cooked, not a rough, but like a less tender. So not one that falls apart, but just like a nice cooked lentil. I think it would give you kind of that nuttiness and also that texture that the walnut brings.
Okay. Well, as always, it was illuminating watching you do all of that and talking to us, Brandy. But let's let everyone know what's coming up. First of all, make sure that you become a member of EMP, Entrepreneur Meal Plan. So make sure you're doing all of that. Also, make sure, everybody, that you join us for further events. Now, Brandy, there are two things that we need to mention. The
Yeah.
first is it's coming up on March 20th. This is Feed Yourself First.
Yeah.
So we'll have a link. Drea will put that in the chat. What is going on with that, Brandy? Can you explain that for us?
Yeah, so feed yourself first, guys. I mean, Entrepreneur Meal Plan is all about what? Feeding your mind, body, and business. And as business owners, we have to remember to feed ourselves first. Now, the one thing that we've been seeing, we being all the people in the in the EMP universe, is that people are working a lot from a place of fear because they're concerned about like what's going to happen, and it's causing them to be overwhelmed, stuck, paralyzed, and not enjoying what it is that they actually signed up to do. So feed yourself first is a conversation coupled with a practical activity where we literally budget our time, starting with scheduling yourself into the plan first and then scheduling everything else around it so that you make sure that you're taken care of during the process of building your business and life.
Excellent. So this is just going right along with the EMP really mantra. So remember, everybody, what we're doing here is supporting you so you know how to feed yourself and really have the energy to sustain what you need to do to support your own business and everyone else. And you have a community that'll support you as well. You can ask questions. You can join us with these reviews and so on. Speaking of the reviews, our next one next week, next Wednesday, it's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time because it's special. We're back with mocktails and munchies.
Woo, 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 woo. Yes, Mocktails and Munchies is our quarterly EMP social. So format's a little different than it is every week. So we usually come here, Brandy and Chauncey, Drea, and the little thing. In the digital space, we can only communicate via chat, right? But next time, this is going to be via Zoom. So it's more, opportunity. We all get to be on camera. You can decide if you want to be in the chat or if you want to be on cam and get to meet some of the other members in the EMP community more visually. So there we go.
So we hope to see you next Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time for that, everybody. And in the meantime, as we always say, Brandy, right? Do life and business. How are we supposed to do it again?
Well, people.
Okay. So we'll keep that in mind. And Brandy, I'll see you next week.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so we'll end everybody with that image of that wonderful dish and then take care. Bye, Brandy. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Johns. Bye, everybody.